Is this still Jefferson Park?
I don't know.
All right, I'm feeling good about this time.
Nice.
It is cold. It is miserable outside. It's warm and delightful in the car. We're outside. Delightful Pastries right here on West Lawrence Avenue. Broken Robots are in the car. Chicago's own Broken Robots. We're going to eat punchki from Delightful Pastries tonight. Are you guys ready for that, guys and gal?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm so ready for this.
Punchki is plural. I want to thank Dabra and Delightful for the hospitality, and these were all made from scratch for us, for Broken Robots. We're living the American dream here on West Lawrence Avenue tonight.
Absolutely.
Car Con Carne, sponsored tonight by C&H Financial Services. Business owners, are you tired of your hard-earned profits going toward paying expensive fees every time your customer pays with a credit or debit card? We're happy to announce our partners at C&H Financial Services have the solution. C&H is the fastest-growing financial services company in Illinois, as recognized by Inc. magazine. And their patented technology allows you to eliminate 100% of the fees associated with accepting credit and debit cards as a form of payment. That's right. Broken Robots, 100% of the fees. C&H will also upgrade your business to the industry's leading point-of-sale system to streamline every aspect of your business for no cost. No cost.
No cost.
No cost. Visit freeprocessingnow.com or call 855-600-2437, extension 999, 666 upside down, and start saving money today. Broken Robots. We have boxes of incredible smelling fresh punchki from Delightful Pastries. I watched them get made. Dabra took me backstage at Delightful. I didn't know how else to say it. Took me into the back of the bakery. She pulled them out of the fryer. I watched her glaze them. We did some of that on Facebook Live. Apologies if you were watching that, because the building that the bakery is in is an old masonry building. Really hard to get a signal out of there. So at some point, the Facebook Live just went away. But I watched her glaze them and then infuse them with all these different fillings. And she's itemized each box for us. She did not put whipped cream in these, which is kind of a standard thing, because she knew what a tragic mess it would be in the car if we ate punchki with whipped cream.
Yeah, whipped cream would be rough in here.
Sounds like a party.
It does sound like a party.
All right, so quick roll call, Broken Robots.
Yes. I'm Tony Baker. I play guitar, sing backup vocals, and I also engineer and mix everything.
Me next. Should I be next?
Sure.
Sure, you should.
My name is Kat Baker. I write the lyrics. I write some of the music. Just recently I started writing drum parts for the band too, and I also do a lot of the management stuff right now.
I'm Lonnie, and I'm just going to keep it at that for right now.
If you didn't hear, that's Lonnie.
He's the emotional support
He's
bass player.
Yeah, the emotional support bass player for me and for Kat and I.
He's the one who's not married to a member in the band.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thanks, James.
I'm the third wheel.
That's cool.
Here's some napkins.
Yeah, no, it really is cool.
Nice.
Like, if it wasn't for these guys, I wouldn't be in a band.
See?
True.
Yeah.
So before we open up the boxes of punchki, I do want to say the new music I'm hearing from your band is really freaking good.
Thank you.
I love what you're up to right now. EP on the way?
Yes.
Yes.
And it is called?
The Escape Artist. Not an official date yet, but shouldn't be more than a few months.
Everyone's talking about Dimes and Quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Just a fantastic song, which I want to ask you about the lyrics, because I think it ties into some Broken Robots history. Before we get there, let's talk about food. Let's talk about punchki. All right, Kat, what do you have back there?
I have a passion fruit one. Which,
Okay, that's the one I want to try. I just tried a spoonful of passion fruit in the bakery.
Yeah.
Bust that open. All right, Lonnie, what do you have?
I have a little piece of heaven in a box, James. Strawberry. Oh my God, this is amazing. Look
Yeah.
at that.
His hands are shaking.
There's
Lonnie's
still one.
hands are shaking.
Have we distributed the napkins?
I gave some.
I've got two.
I have
I'm
none.
gonna look like
But just
I
like
stepped
anything in
out
life,
of a
I always
zombie
keep
movie
everything,
since
I have
most of
none.
everything for myself. And
Kat, do you have some?
You got two in there?
I have napkins, yes.
Okay. All right, and what do you have up there?
it's,
You have plum, right?
I think so. It's got something kind of sticking out the side.
it
that
say
looks
on the
really
top?
good. Raspberry? Oh, yeah.
This is a cheat sheet.
Plum
Yeah,
butter.
Plum butter.
Ooh.
Okay, that's the passion fruit?
Yeah.
I'm going to steal one.
Do it.
I only got one in here, guys, so we're gonna have to.
I've got
That's
two
fine.
more boxes worth, guys.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Here's a plum.
Again,
butter.
I want to thank Dabra.
Yeah, is it
Thank
Dabra?
you.
Dabra.
Dabra. Thank
This
you,
looks
Dabra.
this looks like a sandwich.
Here you go.
It is like a
I'm
sandwich.
good.
Do
I
I
want
eat it
this
like
one.
do I eat it like a sandwich?
Eat it like a donut. Eat it.
How do I eat this?
I know, because it looks like a little strawberry sandwich.
I don't want to give you
Look at
rules,
this.
man. I don't want to tie you down.
It's
you,
still
you do
warm.
you.
Holy
It's still
crap,
warm.
that really is good.
Oh goodness.
There's nothing like a traditional donut or anything, so that's really interesting.
Nothing like it. Oh my God!
I know it's like
much. This is so good. That was
cliche and all, but there's definitely love in this.
There is.
There's care. You can
She knows
tell.
what she's doing. She totally knows what she's doing. As she explained on the Facebook Live earlier, a donut, like if you get a Krispy Kreme, you chew into it and it just kind of flattens out like a pancake. The dough just stays intact. I mean, it's light. There's rum in the batter.
You
That's
guys
all right.
better not be driving after this.
That's right. It cooks off. That's how that works.
Yo, nice. Thanks for that one, James. I was gonna say we can talk about it a little later because Kat and I are pretty accustomed to eating in cars.
Oh yeah.
That's all I do now.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable sitting at a table. This silverware and this spacious area in front of me to eat, I don't understand any of it. Well, the passion fruit's amazing.
Yeah, I'll hit that.
I'll hit that.
Yeah, this is really making me forget about a lot of problems that I'm having.
Oh yeah, I'm done. It's making me forget how miserable it is right outside the car. It's just that cold, wet rain and wind. All right, I'm going to take another bite, then I want to talk to you about your band.
Sounds
All right.
good.
It's so messy. My beard is going to be covered in passion fruit. That's not code. I'm just saying.
Tony, you want to try it?
You want
No,
to
I'm
hit
gonna
this?
hold off just for a minute. I want to get my bearings.
It's not gonna be.
Don't get overwhelmed too fast.
You know
I
what?
know. You don't eat
You're
sugar.
lost, brother.
I have problems with sugar. James, you don't know what you just did.
Kat, do you agree about this passion fruit?
It's really good.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
need to try one of those.
Yeah, here, try it.
Oh my God.
Hey, I gotta finish this one.
All right.
You know what's great about it? It doesn't just taste like artificial sugar. You know,
No,
it's
it
not
tastes
just,
real.
Yeah, it's very authentic.
Oh, this is 100% legit.
Yeah, it's really good.
I could eat these every day. I would
How about it?
not do myself any favor by eating these every day, but I
Right.
could.
Yeah.
Let's talk about broken robots.
All right.
Is it fair to say,
Oh my God.
in the year 2020, you are lucky to be alive, let alone not in prison?
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
That's something. When I first started listening to your music, I didn't know your backstory. Your backstory is scandalous. It's salacious. It's sad to an extent.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, it wasn't not even 4 years ago. Like a little over 3. Kat and I were both homeless, living in a car. That was our home. We were driving around.
Yeah.
Really addicted to drugs.
What was that, like a Monte Carlo, like a 99 Monte
Yeah, it was
Carlo
an
or
old
something?
school
Yeah.
Monte Carlo. And you know,
Now, how did you meet? Did you find each other because you were both addicts?
This is great.
Oh,
So
man, that's all
I
her.
was working this sales job because, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a musician. I practiced. I wrote an EP when I was a teenager. I bought myself a guitar and I was learning and everything. But I think I let the world get to me a little bit, and I got, a real job in sales and, like, doing this. And I was just kind of, like, miserable. But I used to see Tony every day because I would go on sales routes. And he would be panhandling at the exact same highway exit, Lake Street and 355, every day. And I'd give him a couple
I know exactly
bucks.
where it is.
Yeah.
probably saw me there.
Yeah,
I
you
used
might
to
have
work
seen
over
him.
there.
Yeah, I had a beard.
There's
I
a
had
Walmart right over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I used to give him dollars and cigarettes, and then we just started talking and realized we had a lot in common, and then we just started running around being mischievous together for a while.
Side note: Kat had a nefarious past before that, though.
Oh, yeah,
So
no,
it wasn't
this
like it was
wasn't-
like all of a sudden.
No, I had my own drug problem. Tony didn't give it to me.
There you go. Thank you. I wanted
Yeah.
to clarify that.
We just had that in common as well, So, yeah, it was pretty intense, but
Are you both local? Did you grow up in the area? Did you?
She was farther north.
I'm like, yeah, I grew up in kind of like the Island Lake, McHenry area, and then I
Okay.
moved to Crystal Lake, and I was there until, I was maybe 17, and then I've been all over the place, but I'm from like northern Illinois.
And you found drugs and fell into that.
It's very common in the more rural suburbs right now, especially up in the Crystal Lake area. They've been doing a lot of work, McHenry County, to get their overdose numbers down, which is awesome. They've cut it in half over the past few years. But we were experiencing an epidemic. It was huge, and it's still going on, especially with, some of the other things that are being cut into street drugs now. But yeah, I mean, I developed a terrible intravenous heroin problem by the time I was 16 years old.
By the time you were 16.
Yeah.
16, dude.
And I know this stuff happens, and now I know people this has happened too. It still sounds shocking to me. I guess it is shocking. It's supposed to be shocking.
Yeah.
16 years old. How about you? What?
I have a different story, but it ends up kind of the same, which is just misery, But I I went to school for engineering. I'm an audio engineer. I had good jobs and did everything right. And basically, I had an anxiety issue that I never tended to, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I went out to Arizona. I came home, and I just couldn't get out of a funk. It was a depression that I've never experienced. And I was taking a lot of pills just to kind of self-medicate. I was still being we call it a functional addict, still able to make it to work and everything. And then somebody, you know, literally just randomly gave me some heroin to snort. And I was kind of in a place where you reach a point where you're just like, why not? You know, like what's, you know, why not? And it's kind of helpless and kind of sad, but I did it, and it was off to the races. I woke up, and it was almost 9 years later. And
Jesus.
yeah. And, you know, towards the end, it got really bad with my hand.
Oh, yeah, show the camera.
You can hold it up.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I lost the use of my middle finger pretty much on my guitar playing hand, and they had to do 2 open hand surgeries to I was told I was going to lose it. So
And explain how that happened. That was
from shooting heroin, and it just got infected.
Yeah, when you miss the veins,
Yeah.
sometimes
Pretty graphic, but yeah,
it does get
it's
graphic.
real though.
but-
This is important for people
Yeah,
to see
it
and
really is,
understand.
and I want to really be clear that we're not glorifying anything. We're not
No.
Oh,
romanticizing
certainly not.
anything, because the reason we want to push this story so hard is because there are so many people that are still out there, and like you have to know that there is hope. I mean, I was panhandling just 4 years ago. You can do it. So
well, so I guess, I mean, to fast forward, music really did, in many respects,
100%
save you.
saved our life.
But I guess, how did you get there? How did you...
Okay, well, it wasn't easy, and we failed many times before it.
Start with the guitar.
Yeah, well, the guitar. But the one great thing is, like, Kat and I developed a relationship and a friendship before we ever actually used drugs together, which is interesting. We would go to the city to get the drugs, but we would not use them in front of each other.
That is interesting.
Because we liked each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so we knew what that meant. We knew that would be the end of something if we did it together. And so it took months, and then we finally did, and we got really bad. But towards the end here, we wound up, or you want to say about the guitar?
I was just gonna say, Tony, when we were hanging out, you know, like I just meet him on the side of the road. I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's making everything up. So
Right.
he goes on and on about, you know, we're doing these long drives. I, you know, go to the city, drop him off back where I found him, you know, and during this time he'd talk about music, producing music, all this music stuff. He used to be a great guitar player. And I'm like, all right. So then one day I showed up with my acoustic guitar, and I was like, show me. And he did. And for how swollen his hands were, I could tell that he had some sort of soul, like with music, that was really important. And it shone through, like even at the time, like his hands were just so swollen and mutilated. And he still would play the guitar. And seeing that was amazing, you know, and when we did, you know, we finally got caught up with a charge here, a charge there, had to go to rehab.
A possession charge?
Yeah,
Yeah,
possession
possession
charges,
charge.
yeah. And
I wound up going to prison for mine.
Yeah.
It was my way out because I couldn't stop. I tried everything. I've been to rehab a million times. Any other addict will know what I'm saying. It's a revolving door sometimes. But I finally got caught a couple times. Actually, I didn't start getting caught by the police until she entered my life. So I don't know what happened there. But anyway, that second charge, I told the judge to send me away because the rehabs aren't working. And he was like, you know what that means, right? I'm like, yes, please. I need to literally be locked up. And they sent me, they sent me away for like 6 months, you know. And it was pretty rough. But when I came out, I was still on some BS a little bit, and so was she. We hadn't talked for months.
Were there drugs in prison?
No. Absolutely not. Anyone
You
that
hear
tells you
stories.
there's drugs in
Yeah.
prison, absolutely not.
there are cases in jail, in prison, but typically it's such a highly punishable thing that it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it. In county jails, yes.
Yeah.
County jails, absolutely. Prisons, not so much. It takes a lot of work to get, because, you know, the COs took the prisons back over. It used to be kind of run by the inmates, and yes, there was drugs back in the day. Not anymore.
Got it.
So, I was terrified, but I knew it was something I had to go through, and I went there, and
Let's stop there. The fact that things were so bad, things were so low for you, prison was a better option.
yes, that's where I was
I
at.
mean, for a lot of us, myself included, I think like the most frightening thing that could ever happen to me is going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think for a lot of people that's like the absolute most terrifying prospect. You chose that over the way your life was going. I think that says a lot.
Yeah,
Addiction is a jail in and of itself.
Sure.
Oh, it's definitely a prison. You can't go anywhere, and you're kind of controlled by this, you know, and it is a disease, you know, like your brain becomes so warped, and your brain doesn't know any better. Your brain doesn't know that the drugs are killing you. All the brain knows is that it takes the pain away.
Right.
That's all it knows. So it's doing its job. So that's where you have to really step in and get in. Good help is always. It's out there, but it's hard to find sometimes. Go to state-funded places. Don't go to the cheaper places because they seem to care about you. So that was my case.
I do want to apologize. We're on West Lawrence Avenue, and the internet I know is kind of spotty. If we're cutting in and out, I will upload a clean version of this video, but the live streaming may have a little buffering, so I want to apologize if you're experiencing that. I also want to apologize as you're talking about this serious stuff. I'm covered in powdered sugar. Like,
it's kind of a trigger for me. It looks like cocaine, James.
Woo! I want to be sincere, and I want to be, a good listener and respectful, and I look like a 10-year-old who just went on a donut
Honestly,
bender.
the fact that you're just willing to listen to this is like,
of course,
it's bigger. Like, you can't be too serious, can't be too dramatic about it. It's just, it is what it is. Like, and I don't mean that by the expression. I mean it's like, it's information that needs to be kind of like passed along. Again, it's not to gloat, it's to let people know, like, you can come out of that gutter. You really can. And
but my God, not easy at all for you.
No, not at all. And when we got out we went to the same rehab too. Right after I got out of prison, she called me up, and we hadn't talked in months. And
About
I thought
7 months.
Yeah, and I thought it was, we both kind of thought it dissolved, but she called me, and she was struggling still, and she's like, "You want to just get clean, go to this rehab, and maybe do the thing?" And I'm like, "I'm done. Let's do it." And then she went
Were you
first.
cynical because rehab hadn't worked up until that point?
No. I've always been cynical, except for this last time.
Interesting.
It was like something snapped, something switched.
Interesting.
And I know a lot of recovery programs will tell you do never put any sort of upper, like, power, like, in another person. I kind of went against the rules, like I usually do, and I did. I put a lot of it in that stock, and we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna do it. We're gonna beat this. We're gonna get over it. We're gonna do it. And we just did. And we got horrible day jobs. We slang pizza. We hated it, but we worked 50 hours a week each and wrote a record. And we have that for you here. Home is not a place. This is our first album. We locked ourselves in our apartment and wrote these songs.
That's fantastic.
And the new ones that you're hearing are all with Lonnie. Lonnie is who we have to thank for the new vibe, because Lonnie brought this whole new energy. Because I was all done with just me and Kat.
There's bad habits.
That's me and Kat. That's Kat. Yeah, that was the first one where we started opening up about it and being like, this is what we got to tell people.
Always letting our sins turn into bad habits.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. I'm glad you heard it. All right, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, people like that song. Yeah, it's a little bit more of like a lighthearted vibe, but it's got like some dark subject matter, and that's kind of a lot of what we try to do with our music. Sometimes, like now, especially with the second release that we're working on, it's getting a little bit darker in the feeling, but hopelessness is something that we don't necessarily want to give people. We want to explain, the struggle and how it feels to go through this, but we also want to be able to give people hope. And like with a lot of our songs, like we'll tie it up at the end, like that, like it's gonna be okay. Like this is real, and these things happen, and it's not fair. But at the end of the day, like you can always turn around. It doesn't matter, even if you think you're so bad that your hands are gonna fall off. And nobody knows where you've been for 8 years. You can still turn around and come back. Even if you were born into a situation where you ended up using drugs at a very young age and you don't really know how to do anything else, you can still learn.
See, and again, I'm still kind of floored by this. Very articulate, smart, wildly creative people.
That's the stigma.
Yeah, the stigma makes you think that everybody, and it's not you. I'm just saying a lot of people like have an idea in their head when they think of a junkie. They think that it's somebody who doesn't care about anything, or somebody that, is devious, or somebody who doesn't care about other people. And it really, like, when you are unaware of what a drug like that can do to your brain and how it prioritizes itself in your brain as a need, just like food and water and family, like it becomes just as, if not more, important than all those things in your brain, because that's what opiates are kind of programmed to do once you get addicted. And it's just people who are sick. It's once you separate the person from the drug and you can give them healthy coping mechanisms, like writing music about their struggles, it can really, your brain changes.
Totally get that.
You have to remain humble, though, and honest. You can't glorify it. That's the big thing. That's where we're always really trying to keep it in check. And a lot of the times our music can be kind of bubbly and can kind of be in, a major chord progression and stuff, but I always love how Kat incorporates her lyrics. It kind of like contrasts it always. And that's something that I've been really happy about our writing processes.
Well, let's talk about Dimes and Quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Kat, tell me about the lyrics to that one.
So I'm going to say Someone Who Isn't Me is who this song is about. It's about a person who isn't me, and they went through a struggle where they were put in a position where they lost out on some income, and they didn't know how to make it, because sometimes even if you're working 40 or 50 hours a week, if it's an entry-level, low-level job, you're waiting tables, you only make $4 an hour plus tips. You know that there's a way out, and you can do it, and there's a chance that you'll get away with it, and to know that that's an option. Like, there's a struggle within, like, every person who's been there where they've done nefarious things to get by because they had to, where you're trying to live life on the straight and narrow, and you're put in a position where it'd be so much easier if you didn't have to do that, but you know in your heart that that's wrong, and you want to live life the right way. It's just like a frustrated sort of lyrical content about, the push and pull of this thing inside of you that tells you that, like, nobody will know if you just do it once. Nobody's gonna know. But that's, that's the evil part of your brain telling you things are okay that aren't okay. And yeah,
it's a really haunting, hypnotic song. I do recommend, after you're done watching this or listening to this, seek it out on a streaming platform. It's available everywhere and well worth listening to. In the middle of this conversation, we're going to pause and eat some food because we need some fuel to keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, let's try stuff we haven't tried before.
Okay.
Like,
what else we got?
I want to try this.
Raspberries.
All right, what other flavors are back there?
I'll take a raspberry.
Yeah,
Okay, here, take a raspberry.
Here, Tony, you want to try this passion fruit one?
Thank you.
Passion fruit's great.
Okay.
Is there another flavor back there?
There is
No,
plum butter?
They just
Try
gave me
plum
one
butter?
strawberry and I ate it because of
All right, I want to try the plum butter.
talking.
This was
Let me-
so
let
Which is
me
kind
get
of
one
a
of
traditional
Sit there
flavor.
back in there. Sorry about that.
This is dinner.
Yes.
I was
We
about
did
to say
that-
I'm not proud. I am proud to say this is dinner. I'm so proud this is dinner.
Sometimes when,
I have no shame.
this is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it every day. Eat fruits and vegetables, and then every once in a while, donuts.
So I used to work
Yeah.
4 years ago, probably around the time you guys were at 355 and Lake. I used to work at Lake and Swift in Addison.
Oh, I panhandled there.
Oh my.
That was my spot. Yeah, I used to have
panhandled there.
a little dog. Yeah. Yeah, then the police kicked me out. They told me they'd arrest me if I kept going there.
I know exactly where that's
The
at.
most depressing area I've ever worked in my
Yeah.
life. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
So how often do you think about or do you have any struggles staying clean? Is it something that kind of is in the back of your head? Like this devil on your shoulder?
Almost constantly, but you learn to deal with it and how to reason with it.
Yeah, it's definitely still there. It will be for the rest of my life. And and that
Does
meant-
time blunt it at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Time definitely
Great.
helps. Yeah. No, it definitely gets better, and you find new muses. You find different things to live for. Once your brain and it takes a good year, and that's why I think heavy recovery early on is very important.
Mm-hmm.
With like support groups and having other people that have struggled until you start breaking away. Because once your brain realizes there are other rewards, there are other things, like the dust starts to come off, and you realize you realize you can do other things, and your brain is okay with that. It's like, okay, that's not so bad, But if I'm high stress, like halt, I always got to do the halt thing. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? It's something you're taught in rehab.
Interesting.
Because those are instinctual
Yeah.
things where your brain, if it doesn't know it needs food, it's going to want drugs. So
Well,
you gotta,
you've kind of, what happens when you're a drug addict and then you stop using drugs is your brain sometimes still remembers that information where it was, reprogrammed to think that it's a priority. So when you're hungry or you're angry or you're lonely or you're tired, sometimes your brain can misread that as needing drugs.
Right. I get that.
yeah.
So it's about reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's some behavioral stuff that I still have to work on. My addict mentality.
Sure.
I want it all now. I want it to happen right now. I want everything, and then I want more. And it's that I have to keep a governor on. And that's where Lonnie honestly comes in.
Yeah, I was going to bring Lonnie into the
'cause
conversation.
he really is. He's my man.
He's solid,
He's my
dude.
man rock, like for real. Lonnie, I've known Lonnie for 25 years, off and on.
So Lonnie, I would imagine there's some challenge here. One, you're in a band with a married couple. Two, a married couple that's been through some shit. Three, a married couple that constantly needs to work on bettering themselves and overcoming the demons of the past. you're just this guy in this mix. Is it tough for you?
No, I mean, I've known Tony, like you said, for like 25 years. Like, I know what he's like. You know, I might have an inclination to, you know, go on that 8-year bender and whatnot. So I mean, I've, you know, managed our friendship during other times before like that. So like, I knew what I was getting myself into, and like honestly, it's, you know, I'm proud of, you know, what he's been able to do getting clean, and it's not like as weird as it should be, you know.
Because you have that familiarity.
Yeah, and then
like a brotherhood.
Yeah, and as far as you know, they were like feral for a few years. So I was trying to, try and be a positive role model. I'm like the boring.
Lonnie talks me down from a lot of ledges, though. When I get insecure about stuff, and same with Kat.
Yeah,
you know, he kind of steps in and brings reality right and puts it right in our face, and it's great.
I don't sugarcoat it. I give him the business.
Yeah, he get right in our face about things, and like we need that, you know. And
tough love.
Yeah, for real.
If you want sugarcoating, I recommend it.
Yeah, right. Leave the sugar coating for the paczki.
The plum butter.
Yes.
I just, donuts can sometimes feel like too much. I think it's the fresh fillings that make these amazing.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. How it's not artificially sweet.
Yeah,
you know, it's like there's a wholesomeness to it.
I do need to hose down my hands when we're done here.
If you roll down your window and kind of rub your hand on the outside.
Yeah, we're doing.
Are you sure we're the feral ones?
Yeah.
Are you sure that we're the feral ones?
And I want to give
I'm very efficient. I
He
love
is.
efficiency, and that seemed like the very efficient thing to do.
So I don't want to make this whole interview about drugs in the past, although it really did inform who you are today and enabled you to become a band, overcoming that. So I mean, it is part. To your point, it's part of your story.
Oh, absolutely.
But moving forward, EP on the way. No date attached to that yet.
Right.
Any shows we should be looking forward to?
I've got the hookup on the shows. So we're playing Tonic Room on the 29th of February.
That's Leap Day.
It's a real day this year.
Real day.
It's not a joke. We're really
It's also
playing
Superman's birthday.
there. Oh, nice. Happy birthday, Superman.
Awesome.
And then we're playing, what's the other one we just got? For March 13th, we will be playing Shuba's. It's a free show. So if you guys want to check us out, you haven't seen us before, you don't know if it's worth money to go see us, then come to that one, because then you'll see that it is. And then, we're playing Twisted Turtle Music Festival in May. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Check out the Facebook page. We always keep that pretty updated. Yeah, we're trying to just keep moving.
I love it. So, one more drug-related thing. There are people on the scene who are caught up in or with who knows what.
Yeah.
Could they reach out to you?
Absolutely.
And do you want to be that kind of figurehead?
I've had some people reach out to me already, and that's like one of the most amazing, beautiful things I've ever experienced. Not just another person reaching out, but another artist. It is like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. You know, it's like I'm finally the person I'm there. I can be there for somebody. You know,
Right.
and it's like, But you have to. For me personally, I've had some people reach out, and I'm always there, especially if it has to do with addiction, of course.
Yeah, it might feel embarrassing, and I mean, you know, you got to trust our word on it. But if you ever want to reach out to me or Tony about anything, anybody, you know, as far as addiction, questions, maybe references to places where it might be valuable for recovery, halfway houses, all those types of things, like, or just someone to talk to. Like, I mean, we understand, so it's not like I'm going to be going around telling everybody your business, you know.
Yeah,
But that's
for sure.
totally up to you, you know. But yeah, it's that part of the community is like having stable people. That's why Lonnie is so important in this band. Without Lonnie, there would be no Broken Robots, because
Absolutely.
you need to have solid people around you to remind you that life is okay. And it's because sometimes when you get in like very anxious or wild times in your life and you don't know where to go, like, or you need some way to cope, like, it a lot of times like things aren't as bad as you think that they are. And I don't mean that in any derogatory way. It's just that when you're in it, in your own life, sometimes things can feel like they're all crashing down on you, when really it's just one little thing that you could use a little help with or something, you know.
Yeah, you can get at me if you guys got that too. You want? You can call me too.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, so Broken Robots. The band sounds great. Like,
I appreciate it.
from absolute shit comes this wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, you should hear, man. You should hear some of the really early stuff that Kat and I were doing before we really clicked. Like it's really great. And I wanted to give Lonnie a shout out because like Dimes and Quarters, Kat had an idea from the get go and kind of gave Lonnie an idea of a bass line that she kind of wanted to try something over. And
That's
Lonnie,
the first thing that grabs you in the song.
Like within a day, Lonnie, he's got a little studio at his house too, and he emails me. So he's like, check this out, and Kat's like, you know, and it was over with, you know. And then I just held back on the guitars because there was so much going on there. I'm like, that's great. So you guys do that. That's cool. And that's like I said, like where Lonnie, when he entered the band, it was originally going to be Lonnie's like, yeah, I mean, I'll write some stuff, and then he just kind of took over because the first 3 songs he's all over it, and it's great because you know, we needed that. We needed a new vibe. You know, we needed a new
funky.
Yeah,
yes.
funky. So.
All right, so shows coming up. Next one coming up on Superman's birthday. Shuba's next month.
Great.
It's a good touchstone for us all.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to thank Dabra.
Yes, thank you, Dabra.
Delish.
These were delicious.
Oh, going,
Delightful Pastries.
Diet. I can't believe that.
It was worth it, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. it was
Dabra, I would
delicious.
give you 5 fingers, but I only have 4.5, so you get 4.5.
4.5.
Plus a half, so you get 5 fingers.
These are great. So with Fat Tuesday coming up, get your punchki here. This is the real deal, made from scratch. Absolutely delicious, and if you can get them warm, well, even better because
Yeah, they were
Oh,
warm
my
when
God.
we first got them.
my
That's
God.
not even fair when they're warm.
I apologize when we were filming the Facebook Live before you got here when we were backstage at the bakery. I said broken robots don't even deserve this. Like,
Whoa,
kinda don't, though.
that might be true, but you shouldn't
you
say
shouldn't
it.
put it out there like
Yeah.
that, James.
Fight me, James.
all right, love your band. I really do. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, thank you to Delightful for the hospitality. Thank you also to C&H Financial Services for sponsoring this episode. I'm going to make the podcast go away, but if you listened, if you watched, and you liked it, please tell a friend. And I can't even...
Oh,
There it goes.
Help me,
if we're still on, I want to say, James, we wanted to thank you, James, for what you're doing in the scene. We all wanted to just reach out. We got you
Oh.
a shirt,
The stickers.
stickers, and our old records. So.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I get a
thank you,
keepsake
James.
souvenir from Broken Robots.
Yeah.
Domo arigato, Broken Roboto. Domo.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Can you-